Well, what do you know? What do we have here? Another day, another $100 billion company in AMD inking a deal with the profitless AI software company, OpenAI. They announced a deal today to deploy 6 gigawatts of AMD GPUs. What does that mean for AMD? Well, very good. Very good. That means OpenAI is gonna buy hundreds of thousands of AI chips. And it also includes the ability for OpenAI to buy a 10% stake in AMD at 1 cent per share. AMD expects this deal to be worth more than $100 billion in revenue from OpenAI over the coming years. Obviously, AMD stock really liked that, jumped something like 30% on the news. But today we need to talk about why this spending is so absurd and why it's only going to continue. Every day there's comments, there's tweets, there's posts about how AI is in some sort of bubble. And because OpenAI and Sam Altman, they don't make any money, so how can they continue to get all this money, to continue to promise these $100 billion plus investments to companies like Nvidia, to companies like AMD and Oracle, when they don't make a single dollar in profits? It's actually more simple than you would expect. And we'll get to all that, but first things first, we need to build a little bit of context. Why is this deal for AMD, between AMD and OpenAI, so massive for the company, so massive for the space, and throws a little, let's say, monkey wrench in the whole AI spending bubble that we're currently in? To get some context, why not go to our good friend, the king of AI data center infrastructure, Jensen Huang, CEO of Nvidia himself, when he had this to say about AMD, not specifically referencing them, but competition in general in 2024.
Our time to deployment, our performance, our utilization, our flexibility across all these different applications, in total, allows our operations cost, they call it total cost of operations, TCO. Our TCO is so good that even when the competitors' chips are free, it's not cheap enough.
Well, wait, did you catch that? So wait a second, did you catch that?
That even when the competitors' chips are free, it's not cheap enough.
So Jensen just said that even when competitor chips are free, $0, they can't compete with Nvidia because their entire product from end to end is just that much better. It just makes more sense to buy from Nvidia in every single aspect. Even if they're selling their latest and greatest GPUs for $60,000 to $70,000 a pop and AMD cut their cost to $0, it's still worth it to buy Nvidia chips. And so I think you can begin to see why this deal in particular, AMD and OpenAI, is so incredibly important to getting AMD back into the game, because let's be honest, it wasn't a fair playing field. We have Nvidia valued at something like $4.6 trillion today, and AMD now sitting around 250 to 300 billion, literally 10% of the market cap. So this all sounds phenomenal. This all sounds great. I mean, AMD is going to make $100 billion over the coming years, and OpenAI is going to be able to invest in AMD at $0 per share effectively, as the stock completely moonshots, literally because of the deal. It's a self-fulfilling cycle. OpenAI is going to invest in AMD stock as AMD stock goes up because of their own deal. And it's ironic, right? Because OpenAI, you'd think they have a lot of money to spend. I mean, they're promising $100 billion plus to AMD. They're promising $300 to $400 billion plus to Nvidia over the coming years. So we're already at around $500 to $800 billion promised right now. And you can see OpenAI lost $2 billion in 2023, lost about $5 billion in 2024, is set to lose about $10 billion in 2025, which is only growing to 2026. And then a few small, measly losses of, a couple billion to tens of billions of dollars in the coming years. So the company is a money pit right now, right? They burn a shit ton of cash, yet they're able to announce these strategic partnerships that are going to have $100 billion going straight into AMD, which inflates the stock, which inflates investor expectations, which inflates future forecasts of AI data center spending. Yet the company that's actually using the data center infrastructure isn't making any money. That's good. It's fine because Sam Altman's excited about it. Would you? I mean, he has a stake in OpenAI and they're now valued at $500 billion. So yeah, I'd be pretty excited to partner with AMD too. And you know, it's kind of ironic. We just watched that video about Jensen Huang, CEO of Nvidia, talking about how even if AMD priced their chips at zero, it'd still be more effective to buy Nvidia chips. And you can see right here, it's kind of a shout out to that, right? He literally announces the partnership with AMD, but then still says, hey, this is incremental to our work with Nvidia, and we plan to increase our Nvidia purchasing over time. At the end of the day, I think this is what sums it up. The world needs more compute, at least in the eyes of OpenAI. Now, this is what has people really nervous, because today you can see this blue line up here has to do with personal consumption expenditures. In other words, consumer spending, the people that live in the country. What contribution is consumer spending making to GDP growth? Today, it's actually less than 1 basis point. This green line over here makes up, think AI data center spending, AI CapEx. AI CapEx today is making up more GDP growth than consumer spending. More growth is attributable to the spending on AI data center equipment, processing, electricity, etc., than people going out and spending the money they make from their job. Now, that's kind of problematic, right? Because you can see if GDP growth seems to be holding strong, resilient in this time of panic, as everybody talks about a tough job market and how they can't find a position, right? If GDP appears to stay strong, then people start to care a whole lot less about the jobs numbers. And as we've seen over the past few months, this number, the job market, hasn't been the strongest. And as you may have heard with the government shutdown, we're actually not even getting the most recent job number. So yeah, that's something to digest. At this point, we're kind of guessing the state of the job market, and the trend certainly isn't looking good, but who cares? AI CapEx spending is up. And so even if you aren't happy about the job situation, I can promise you Nvidia, AMD, OpenAI, and any other hyperscaler that's in the AI data center space is very happy about what's going on right now. OpenAI in particular has had a pretty big adjustment to their projections of revenue over the coming years. You can see they were looking at a target of about 100 billion by 2029. That's now moving up to 125 billion due to new products, including free user monetization. So yeah, they're finding ways to make money. And that's great. This is important because they're burning a shit ton of money right now. The losses are growing and they're expected to maintain losses over the coming years. So yeah, this is important. And to keep AI CapEx spending so resilient, keeping GDP looking so good, they need to keep getting money from the big companies. Sugar Daddy Jensen Huang. And don't worry, that's exactly what we're projecting, right? Data center market size is only going one way. That's up, expected to hit about $1 trillion by 2034. That's what we see with all sorts of projections, right? I could go through about 1 million charts that talk about the global data center market size absolutely exploding and hitting, anywhere from 400 to 650 trillion by 2030. But you know who's even more optimistic and more confident than that, and albeit probably definitely has a vested interest in the whole thing, is our good friend Jensen Huang. He says that AI data center CapEx is going to hit $1 trillion by 2028 and possibly 3 to 4 trillion by 2030. That's no lie, about 8 to 10x what experts are projecting right now. So yeah, he's optimistic, but it's important to keep in mind he also has the best pulse on the industry. He literally is talking to executives at data centers, at these hyperscalers, at these smaller AI companies. Hey, what's going on? What's the demand like? Do you need more chips? Do you need more compute? And clearly the answer, at least right now, is yes. Now, is any AI software company making money right now besides Tesla with FSD and Palantir with their 3 different enterprise platforms. No, it's really only them. But the point is, the demand right now is there. Are those small AI companies, mid-sized AI companies, going to turn a profit from that? I guess we don't really know. And that's why the whole question of the bubble is at play, right? Nobody knows. But what we do know is Jensen Huang is crazy optimistic and confident. And if he's correct, if we see a $3 to $4 trillion of spending in AI data center capex by 2030, we're going to be looking at Nvidia having revenues in the trillions, which would make their stock price today look like a cheap steal of a deal. And so while we're on that note, we have OpenAI co-founder here with AMD CEO talking about their recent deal. What do they have to say about it?
Made it so you didn't just need Nvidia.
We need as much computing power as we can possibly get. And I think the whole industry right now is trying to really adapt to the amount of demand for AI services that we see coming over the next couple of years.
And so I guess that really sums it all up, right? Everybody, including the OpenAI co-founder, the AMD CEO, our favorite man in the world, Jensen Huang, CEO of Nvidia, again, clearly and obviously have vested interests in the whole AI spending circle. But at the end of the day, the demand is there. And so as long as everybody and their mother continue to want AI services from all these big, well-known companies, and they continue to need the AI compute that Nvidia, AMD, OpenAI present, then the party can continue. And when that stops, well, you can say goodbye to all of that. But I guess the question is, at the end of the day, does it even matter? Does it matter what Jensen says? Does it matter what any analyst says about the future projections and their guesstimates about where AI capex is going to be? No, it's about what the numbers tell us. OpenAI needs more compute to give you the latest and greatest version of ChatGPT that everybody loves, of course. And if they need more compute, then they're going to continue to buy from your AMD. They're going to continue to buy from your Nvidia. And these two companies both inherently benefit from their deal with OpenAI, because as OpenAI continues to provide them with hundreds of billions of dollars of revenue, their stock prices just go up. It's a self-fulfilling cycle, and everybody is happy, right? Now, what could rain on the parade? What could stop the AI party? Well, it's probably not going to be Nvidia's downfall, probably not AMD's either, probably not the chip manufacturers like TSM, the machine manufacturer like ASML. I'll tell you right now, it's probably going to be the software company. It's going to be OpenAI. They rely on the majority of their revenue, 70+%, coming from subscriptions to premium versions of ChatGPT. At the end of the day, how many people are willing to purchase premium versions of ChatGPT? How many small to medium-sized businesses are willing to continue to buy API credits? If these consumers don't stick, the revenue growth that we saw, that does look promising and is being revised upwards, but if that revenue doesn't stick, if those things don't come to fruition, then Sam Altman might not be so excited anymore. And yeah, the AMD, the Nvidia, the Oracles, all those deals look beautiful on the surface, and there's a lot of promise here. We're talking 500 to 800 billions of dollars. But at the end of the day, this is okay until it isn't. Until the world doesn't need much more compute. There's really only a few things you can do about this. If GDP is going to continue to look super strong in the face of a struggling consumer, in the face of a struggling job market, then really the only thing you can do is take advantage of the spaces that do have growth, that are participating in the AI party. Whether you think AI is in a bubble, whether you think the whole AI spending circle of Nvidia, AMD, Oracle, OpenAI is a joke or not, it doesn't matter. That's where all the money is, and all the money is to be made. The least you can do is be somewhat exposed to the market that's growing rapidly, and as our good friend Jensen Huang says, is going to be a $3 to $4 trillion industry in a mere 4 to 5 years from now. And again, if this is the case, if this does come anywhere close to fruition, then Nvidia is a steal right now, straight up. Nvidia revenue will be sitting somewhere around here, $500 billion by 2028. Is it very circular? Yes. Is there vested interest in these projections that Jensen Huang is making? Obviously, yes. Does it matter? No, not really. You really have two choices, and it's adapt or die. Take advantage of what's in front of you, or don't and get left behind. What's your prediction on the next big Sam Altman announcement? Who's next on the OpenAI hit list? We have AMD, we got Nvidia, we got Oracle. Who is next? Let me know what you guys think of the AI bubble. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye now.